Welcome back to a brand new episode of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley. This is the podcast where nothing is off limits. Today we've got a very special guest back on our sofa, and that is my glorious father, Kevin Bentley, and his childhood school friend, Timothy Ackroyd.
Bentley. Yay! She called you Bensley.
What did you say?
Kevin Bentley. She said, my glorious father, Kevin Bensley.
No, I said Bentley.
Yeah, we
We'll
don't know
get
who
to
that is.
a diction correct.
Anyway, it's been
Yes.
touch and go getting here today.
Explain what's happened.
No, don't
Well,
explain.
there's been
No,
an
don't.
attack of that. We can't go into it. But anyway, Imodium seems to be helping.
Vapours.
I'm glad to say.
Okay, let's start with the beginning. Can you just quickly explain to the listeners how you two met?
At Bradfield, in a January term, I don't know, 55 years ago or more, and certainly arriving in the mid-bleak winter at this terrible school. Anyway, I saw this sort of curly-haired boy and I thought, oh, God. Anyway, the funny thing was that after that, everywhere we seemed to go, because you were all placed in alphabetical order, he was always next to me. And I have to say that thank God for him, because it was the most nightmarish school. And we did laugh for 5 years. I mean, the whole thing was, rather fortuitous.
Well, you pitched up, so us, poor boys, rather common boys, we'd get there by train and bus and with our trunks and our tuck box, and then you arrive in a chauffeur-driven car, and your tuck box was of teak. It was entirely different shape to ours, absolutely polished to the nines. You then asked our housemaster to carry it in, thinking that he was a staff, a servant there, and yes, and I thought to myself, wow, I thought, this boy, he's got a funny smell about him. And I very quickly realised it was the sweet smell of success. And I thought, I'm going to get very close to him. And I was dead right. Look at it, 5 children.
Oh, God, miracle.
Very, very miraculous person in life. And when you opened that tuck box, what did I have in mind? You remember? Baked beans, Heinz baked beans, cup of soup, yours, pâté de foie gras from Fortnum, a bottle of champagne, caviar.
Yes. Unlike that school food was revolting.
I love the stories of you two from school, because obviously I then went to Bradfield. But I think it did look the same as when you two were there. We had all the same buildings.
I think you're in the realms of fantasy.
No, listen.
I really think that's the one time I went back, Kevo showed me around a girl's house and the boys' house. I mean, you've all got private bathrooms and your own, like a hotel.
Luxury.
In our day, the loos didn't even have doors on them.
Oh, and there was that poor old hunchback.
And there was
used to say, "Feet."
Poor man called Percy.
Terrible.
No, then we finally did get doors after about 2 years there. And then if you happened to be sitting, which is the topic of the day, all you'd hear from him was he'd shout, "Legs!" And you literally had to do that as the mop came in.
No, it's too awful. No, moving on, though.
And we cold showers.
Okay, no, we had slightly different, but we had Blood's Corridor, all of that.
All of the same.
Blood's Passage.
Blood's Passage, where you had to...
Yep. Get it right if you're going Livy.
No, ours was called Blood... Well, we called it Blood's Corridor.
Well, things changed.
New language.
But you two were quite fond of the drama classes.
Were we?
Yes, weren't you in some plays?
Oh, don't be so ridiculous. He was the actor.
Well, you were in... No, when I... yes, Clytemnestra, the Agamemnon, the Greek play. So Kevin was one of my bodyguards in the play. And so I couldn't understand. He suddenly started getting a lot of fan mail from other schools. And then I realized what had happened was he was standing in the queue. There were queues for makeup. and the queue he was in was for the handmaidens. And he looked so pretty, his little skirt. And
Actually, it was shocking.
yeah, it's shocking.
And
all
having
these
to-
boys, writing to
Desperate.
you. Desperate.
Desperate.
No, but what about the one where you were issuing out the rolls to people?
What do you mean?
Chetwynd Stapleton.
Oh, no, that was terrible.
Spot on the street.
You didn't say that at all. You said shit on side of road. But anyway,
But-
you can't mention names.
No, the orchestra, that was a fine moment.
That was a fine note.
I conducted the orchestra at the school band competition, every house. And I conducted, and Kevin played the cello.
What?
Yeah. And I said to Kevin, do you remember Sir Thomas Beecham, the great conductor, Philharmonic Orchestra, and he once turned to a lady cellist in the orchestra and he said, "Pray, madam, you have between your legs a God-given instrument. Do not scratch it." And that was a little bit like
We were clapped
you're
off.
playing.
No, we were clapped off
And-
at that
and in
point.
fact-
It was terrible.
Well,
we
no,
were
I
clapped off.
got a call from the headmaster the next day to come and see him. And I walked into his study and, all well, headmaster? He said, "Not entirely." I said, what brings me to your study? He said, "Well, your conducting yesterday was a disgrace to your house
It was.
and the school, in front of all the parents."
It was actually
And
shocking.
I was shocked. I
He
said,
said you look as if you were directing the traffic.
No, I said,
was so awful.
I was genuinely taken aback. I said, that does surprise me. I said, "No, surely not that bad." He said, "Worse than bad." I said, "Worse than bad?" He said, "The worst of it was when you were conducting, you kept turning to the audience with a rictus grin on your face just to check everyone was enjoying it." I said, I don't recall that." "Yes, you turned and you smiled."
A
and-"
great showman.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, that headmaster, I can't remember where he went on to another school, said the most unnerving thing of all for him was that, in the chapel in the mornings, the whole school would assemble, and he'd make a speech or tell us what we were all supposed to be doing. And Sir Timothy here was sitting in the front row winking at him. And he said it was the most unnerving thing that he'd ever experienced in all his years of being headmasters of all these schools.
But you both did. You won the Rose Bowl.
Well, no, that is, I'm afraid.
The Rose Bowl incident, because we just happened to be incredibly bright academically, and so we were not doing prep with the rest of the boys because they felt overwhelmed by the fact that we would finish Latin pronouns within 5 minutes and they'd be there 5 days later. So we actually studied in the library, and we weren't a very sporty house. We had 2 cups, the Rose Bowl, which was magnificent, a huge silver bowl, which I think you won for your tapestry. I'm not sure. But then we had a very small little silver tankard for, deck quoits or something. So one day, the Rose Bowl vanished. It had just gone from the cabinet, gone. And then we were all called together by the headmaster, and he stood on the dais. I remember that had a little table in front of him, and on the table was this tiny little silver cup. And he said, "You all will be aware the Rose Bowl has disappeared. And I would like," and so we now have just this remaining cup, and it's pretty poor when I'm showing prospective parents round, and they look at the cabinet. I've even had to get some of mine to put in there when they come round, just to make sure it looked. Anyway, he said, "I'm prepared to forgive those boys and make no mention of it if the Rose Bowl is returned. And I am now going to have the lights turned off for 5 minutes, during which time the Rose Bowl will be returned." So he switched the lights off, and there was the usual, and actually 5 minutes is a long time in darkness. And he then said, "Lights!" And the lights went back on, and the little silver cup had gone.
I think
Shocking. Anyway,
I don't know why that makes me laugh
I think
so
we
much.
found a pawn shop somewhere for them.
Selling them on.
I think so. I can't remember what happened.
And then so you remained friends throughout Bradfield, and then
Yeah.
what both went your, because then you got into acting,
Big
and
time.
Kev got into insurance.
That's it.
Oh, Christ.
What was your, how did you go straight from Bradfield to,
I did. I wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't.
That's not true.
I didn't enjoy my acting.
The last year was the Greek play, of which he had the lead in it. And the only reason, actually, that we joined up, for the play was to get out of doing corps, which was sort of dressing up in army gear on a Wednesday. or something.
CCF, I had to do that.
So we decided to get out of that by joining the Greek play, the cast. But actually, he was so good at it that he got an immediate offer from Lambda and RADA and all those.
Oh, I didn't
drama
actually
schools.
know that.
Yeah,
Did
no.
you always want to do acting?
I think I would like to have been a marine biologist. In a way, I would like to have worked with animals.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't a clever clogs, and I probably too emotional. But when I look back on, I don't know, I don't like to look back. I've been asked to do this evening in conversation with, and they offered up some silly woman from the radio. I thought, I can't be doing with you. I mean, she had no idea who I was talking about. So what's the purpose of that? I mean, a modicum of intelligence would help. I don't really want to do it because I'm not sure I want to look back on all that.
But do you not look back and think you had a happy life?
I think I had a very lucky life in many ways, but besieged with OCD and things that have
You're both quite OCD,
crippled
though.
my life. Yeah,
Is that a boarding school thing?
I don't know.
don't know.
You could have the floors cleaned every 5 minutes at home.
Oh, no, that's because we were brought up in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brought up in hot countries where you had, in order to remain healthy, you had to be scrupulous. I mean, in the world that you are in your acting world, I think it does come, at a price, because it's a bit exhausting, isn't it, to be performing.
Oh, I don't know
you
how
have
some
to
actors do it.
I don't know how
I
they do
don't
it.
know if I'd have the stamina
Well,
for that.
do when I did a piece for Dave Allen, so big theatres, I've been paid a lot of money, it's just me,
Yeah.
and you've got 2,000 people who come to see you, you better know what you're doing. And and I'm not a stand-up comedian, so there's a balance. It was true, though. It was all true. The stories. And David Allen was, at his height, he was audiences of 20 million on television, his show. Now forgotten. That's the other thing. I don't really want to talk about any of this because nobody knows. I don't expect you know Dave Allen. No? There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. But
do you think that's quite sad, though?
no, I don't. I think it's rather rather life-affirming that, that all these extraordinary people I knew, and they were extraordinary, not just actors, but writers and musicians, and a lot of them do. They die, and 10 years later, nobody knows who they are. I think, in a way, it's rather affirming. Yeah.
But do you think there's anyone amazing that you wish was still sort of like spoken about? Because I feel like now there's obviously like, I don't know if it's a social media thing, which I know you two are sort of not aware of, but there's sort of a new hot thing every minute. So people their sort of time frame of being famous is over pretty quickly. There's no one who sort of stands out. Like I personally, comedian-wise actually, was all like the Carry On camping lot. All the carry-ons.
Yeah, and they're all dead.
Yeah. But that sense of humour's changed now. It's not really like that anymore.
Well, I don't know I don't watch television, and so I have no idea about reality things and all that. I just what I occasionally feel is how in television or the cheap programming, that you're bringing people down,
Yeah.
audiences. You're not trying to, in any way, elevate them, and you're luring in people who are very happy, it seems to me, to humiliate themselves, and then just.
No, it is true.
And I find that very sad, because what is it based on? The physical? Because there doesn't seem to be a whole lot other going on. In terms of the people I knew were extraordinary in their field.
And very talented.
Patrick Moore. Sir Patrick Moore put men on the moon. Beryl Bainbridge. These were... I was very lucky, because I mean, now if you put on for me, what's that dance thing called?
Strictly Come Dancing.
Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh my God, Tim, would you do that?
I wouldn't know anyone on it. I simply wouldn't know who they were, and I would care even less. Really, I mean, what's the point? What is the point? I don't.
No, it's true.
Well, actually, you'd be better, I think, on Dancing on Ice. I mean,
Well,
there was
yes.
a famous evening where we went to a charity function in North London somewhere, and it was a roller disco evening. Well, it was the most hysterical thing I've ever seen, because suddenly there was Tim flying round, somersaulting in the air and doing a twirl and God
could
knows
just
what.
do it.
And then I thought, my God, hang on, I didn't know he could roller skate. Only then to discover he'd taken his roller skates off and he was running round with those roller skates on, and then the whistle blew and then it all came to an abrupt halt.
That's right.
I mean,
God.
during
I want to
that
know,
scene,
can you
hysterical.
tell me one story where you two have actually slightly maybe have been concerned that you would get into trouble? Legally?
Well, it was when we were stopped on the embankment, driving back from some party, and clearly both of us over the limit. And anyway, the policeman came up to the window, and this one shouts out, "What's a nice girl like you doing out on a night like this?" I mean, that didn't help, I can assure you. There have been many occasions.
We've been
like
at
that.
the law courts, and it's in black tie. You were driving, and
great
the
burly
IRA were having one of their
right.
usual go-offs. And
That's why we were stopped.
that's right. This is a huge. You remember? I can see it now. Bearded policeman with a spade beard, absolutely absurd. And he came around. He knocked on the window, and I then heard someone saying, "What's a nice girl like you doing out at a time like this?" And I wondered where it had come from. And before I knew it, the door was open.
You're out.
I was pulled out, put in the back of a van, and driven off to...
Horseferry Roads.
No. It's that lovely Gerald Road off Elizabeth Street, that police station. Noel Coward used to live next door. That's... It's gone now, but my goodness, I was in clover. I loved it. Well, it was more comfortable than my flat. And in the morning, I was given coffee and toast and marmalade.
Yes,
and on the way out, I said to the girl on the desk, she said, "I hope you're going to behave." I said, "I have no intention of behaving if I can get back here tonight."
I'll be back later.
But, you know,
Oh, God.
so, yes.
There were some
But then
hysterical
I've been
moments.
arrested a few times. Actually, with Peter O'Toole, we were going to do a manual about the best cells we have known around the world.
Tell me another
Gerald
one.
Road gets 5 stars.
That's hilarious.
Hysterical.
Another one about being arrested.
Oh.
Well, oh yes. Well, I was well over the limit, and I had just had my book published,
Okay.
Ackroyd's Ark, and there's that Charlie Mayhew who
terrible night.
And so I was outside the American embassy, driving around. I couldn't find the way out, and it was pulled in, and I hadn't got my lights on. So I was bundled off to Savile Row, and then up before the Beak in Bow Street Magistrates Court. And, well, out of that, actually something good came, because I realised, hating doing anything really, and not wanting to go to parties or anything like that, it was a good way out, because I couldn't drive for 2 years. And then I had to
You actually
attend.
lost your licence? You actually
Yeah.
lost...
Oh, yeah, for 2 years. But then I had to attend a course. And the woman, there were 12 other people. It wasn't an entire success because so the woman, the first question was, Timothy, my name's Charlene. Timothy, tell me, give me 2 things you think make a good driver. So I naturally said, well, arms and legs are helpful. And she said, if you are going to be nobody has failed this course, but if you are going to be flippant. I said, well, I'm not being flippant. You've asked me 2 things. So it wasn't. And then all through it, there were, you were asked to come up with solutions. And there was that chap, Scooter Man, do you remember? So if you'd had too much to drink at a pub, you could phone Scooter Man. And he would come on his scooter, take you to your car, put his scooter in the back and drive you home.
Yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah, so that's a very good idea. Unfortunately, when Scooter Man came for me, it was not such a good idea. Namely, I couldn't remember where the bloody car was. So we were walking around for an hour. He was getting fed up, I said, well, put your scooter on the fence or something. We'd find. Yeah, so that was, and I remember one where she asked, would we keep the driving limit at 30? And some silly girl said, no, I'd make it 18. 18 miles an hour. I said, no. I said, I might be surprising you all, but I would actually increase the driving speed limit in London. And the man opposite me, look, he went, bleh, like this. And she said, no, wait, we have none of that. I think I see where you're going to this one, Timothy. And so I said, yes, I would actually increase the speed limit to 60. And then that's ridiculous. I said, exactly. Nobody can drive 60. Right? And the man next to me, he said, look, I think there's a lot in what Tim says, right? I'm going to tell you something happened to me, right? A few years ago, I'm driving along under the speed limit, and I'm coming towards the zebra crossing, and I see there this old biddy, and I think I'm going so slow, surely she's not going to cross. Blow me down, she crossed, and I bumped into her, knocked her down. No, I didn't kill her nor nothing now. But here's what I think about what Timothy said. If I'd been going at 60, I'd have gone past the bleeding crossing before she even got to it.
That is true. I have to agree. I can't bear these speed limits in London. And now that and then the cyclists.
Well, that's very, very dangerous.
But you had an incident with someone on a bicycle once.
So I was driving back along the embankment.
Make sure it's funny.
Yeah,
we're going down a storm.
All right.
Keep going down a storm.
Okay, so suddenly there was a deluge. I mean, absolutely pissing down. And a girl went past me and her little floral dress skirt got caught in her chain. And the next thing that happened was it ripped it right off. So there was a girl standing next to me just with the knickers on. Anyway, thank God I had a sort of dog blanket in the back.
Oh, I didn't know this story.
Oh, I picked her up. I know I had to, a poor girl. I mean, she was standing there with minute knickers on. I mean, it's awful. No. Anyway, I drove her along. She got in the back. We put her bike in the back, and I dropped her off somewhere, near Sloane Square, but she took my dog blanket.
Oh. They were about to say your number. I was like, Mum wouldn't like that. No, but what happened?
It was years ago.
A man with a visor on his motorbike.
That was actually a very unfortunate incident where I threw a cigarette out of the window and it seemed to whistle back and went straight into this man's helmet because he had his visor up. I mean, you couldn't do it if you tried. Anyway, I had no idea this had happened until, of course, the motorbike came up alongside me.
Right on the window.
Oh, he was kicking the side of the car. The usual. Anyway, that was.
I'm not big on the cyclists. I can't bear it. And actually,
it's
recently,
dangerous.
because of the bloody tube strikes, now that I actually take the tube, the bicycles everywhere are ridiculous. You see all the line bikes? Oh, they're called line bikes. Yeah, line bikes everywhere. So they've got their own pathways. Because that's my problem. Along the embankment, there's the road for the cars and then there's the road for the bicycles. If I went into the cycle lane, I'd be fucked. And when the cyclists come into my lane, sorry, I did swear.
Yeah.
I'm also screwed.
Yeah.
So it's a nightmare. But no, what happened in the? You
Well,
pulled someone up.
I think the bottom line is if they are going to pedestrianise or whatever they're going to do with London, and everyone had to get on a bicycle, that's great. But at this point, that you've got the worst of both worlds. You've got far too many cyclists and far too many dangerous drivers. I mean,
it's
it's
ridiculous.
terrifying. And actually, they're both at fault because, as you say, they don't stay on their lanes. They're coming in and out. But I mean, why not just go the whole hog and say, right, everyone on a bicycle? Maybe that's the answer. Be like in Holland,
One of my initiatives
honestly,
on
I'd
this
get on.
driving course, which sadly was turned down, was either to have policemen outside pubs when people came out to breathalyse them, in a fair way,
Yeah.
to say, well, you're over the limit, rather than then wait for them to get in the car, which is dangerous. That was one. The other one was bumper cars. I suggested taking places like Walthamstow, flattening it, and having a massive bumper car pool there, and everyone, imagine, you get in your or you came from Berkshire, but Reading, flatten that, and then you could put the bumper car pool there. You drive from Humpley Barrow or wherever it is, and you get in your bumper car. Now,
where do you
imagine
actually go?
on the way up
Talking
to
about-
London,
Yeah.
you can
Ram anyone-
all the aggression. You could all those city people
well, I
who
did
are all
that.
uptight. There, you could bump people. You could have fun. In other words, when you get to the office, you're in a good mood. I just took out so and so.
Been after him for a while. No, I mean,
No, but continue
Anyway.
with the story with the citizen. I wasn't aware that you could make citizens arrests.
well, apparently
Oh yes, you
can't.
can. My father did too.
Really?
My father before me. Yeah.
But explain. You explain, Tim.
Well, in my case, I stopped this chap, and he started to get aggressive. This was in the park, and I said, and I was walking with a friend, and she had a phone. So I said to him, I am making a citizen's arrest. And he literally went, oh, you can't do that. I said, I can. You are now under arrest. And he looked, he said, no, I'm not. I said, yes, you are. You are under arrest. And I just literally stood there, and then a police car did come.
Really?
And I said, I've made a citizen's arrest. This chap going at high speed across the park, which is not allowed. So he was arrested.
I think that's fair enough.
And fined. But you see, the fines are no good. The word that would go round to these idiot cyclists, if you actually took their bike, and you crunched it beyond recognition. Okay, it sounds very... No, I don't... Whoa. No, I know you two are both bike riders. You're thinking, whoa, no, look, I know it sounds very, very... Harsh, but the word then gets round
Not
that
to do
actually
it.
we get a silly fine of £5 or whatever. And that,
Yeah.
and, you
I
know,
think it would be that at all.
and that doesn't mean anything. But if you actually made an example, over a week, and let's say 5 of them got their bikes crunched, the word would get round pretty quickly. If you go across the park and you hit a child or a dog...
No, I know. I think that I do actually have to say I do think that's shocking. What do you think of the laws in London generally? Do you think things are very completely different to what it was like when you were my age?
Oh, completely different.
Do you like London?
I think that we've got just too many people. There's just too many people. I mean, and I also think that the Mayor of London, as a job, should never, ever be allowed to be more than 2 terms. You need fresh blood and fresh ideas. And, and then this week, of course, with the tube strike, where their biggest complaint is they can't afford to buy in London. Well, who the bloody hell can afford to buy in London?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very expensive. And
It's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. So, and it caused chaos. I mean, it was absolute chaos. The traffic was appalling.
No, I had to get to an event the other night. It took me 4.5 hours.
No, it's dreadful. And then that isn't helping the pollution, which is the one they're always banging on about. And, anyway, doesn't it's
It's a vicious cycle.
it is a vicious cycle, and I think in every generation, things make big changes come along.
Would you like to be my age now? Like,
No, I would not. Definitely.
Would you?
not.
What are you
No, I
talking about? I am your age.
don't be
How dare you? How dare you? Talking about we're engaged, for goodness sake. You can't be...
Well, you
Kev
two.
turned to
Yes.
us and said, I'll have to marry
I call
Tim.
you father.
Oh, I thought no, you made
Daddy.
Daddy, yes.
No, you'd have to be on the dating apps.
What?
You'd have to be on dating apps and stuff, Tim.
What for?
Dating.
dating. He's got you lot to. Yes,
No, no,
well,
no.
I'm too dysfunctional. I once, so bored. I must have been doing something long. So there was in one of the papers a personal column, and it said something like Swedish blonde, long legs, looking for a good time, that sort of thing. So I thought, wow. In those days, you just had a P.O. box number. So I sent off something and forgot, and it's before the days of mobile phones, but I then, in those, had a landline, and I had completely forgotten about it. It's about 3 weeks later when my phone went, and I answered it. I said, yes. The voice said, hello? I said, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, who's this? And the voice, are you P.O. Box 60412? And I said, suddenly, and I said, hang on a minute. I said, are you the Swedish bird? No, dear, I'm Jewish lady 78 looking for companionship. You wrote to me. And that was my first instance of my eyesight going poor. Yes. Anyway, she was called Ethel. And she lived we were on the phone for about, I said, look, I'm so sorry. Oh, dear, I'm not Swedish with long legs. I said, well, on the whole, I don't think that matters, Ethel. So, yes, we came to know each other, and I used to take her out to lunch.
That's actually very sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like that anymore. You've got Tinder, Hinge, Bumble.
Oh, I wouldn't know any of those. No.
But this is do you think sort of, actually you can answer this, do you think romance is sort of dead now because of the way dating is as a
I
whole?
just think it's sad that when people, certainly when we were younger, you'd have people round for dinner or supper, and you'd get to know people. Now it's all these incredibly expensive restaurants, and there's no familiarity about it all. It's all a bit strange.
Well, I'd say
one misses out on the conversation.
Yes. I had a friend, a very successful girl, very bright, and she signed up for an agency. I think it was called Draw Down the Moon or something. And it has a very good
worrying.
reputation.
Draw down the what?
I think it was called Draw Down the Moon. You have to show you have an income level of, let's say, £150,000 a year or more, and they then match you. You pay £10,000 for, as I recall, for 10 matches.
God.
And I said, but this is absurd. I said, how can you be so... Look, to me, you can match two people by what they're looking for with hair colour, height, eyes, hobbies. But the one thing they can't do, and it's the only thing that matters, and it is indefinable, is chemistry between two people.
Yeah.
You can match everyone bit for bit, and then they meet, and there's no chemistry.
Yeah, but this is the problem with online stuff. You don't know anyone, and then you.
Well,
I
think that's I couldn't. I just don't get it. The thought of turning up somewhere to meet someone you've never met, frankly, the shock.
The shock of it. Anyone can turn up.
I mean, there's that marvellous actor, Ronald Pickup, in one of those films, and he goes on a date through one of these apps, and the woman, they're sitting at this dinner, and the woman quite clearly is 30 years younger than him. And she looks at him and she says, you said in your details that you were 50. He's clearly not 50. And she looks at him and says, is that true? And he goes, no. Not entirely, no. So I don't know how. I know that is the way now that this happens a lot. I find it again very frightening.
I mean, do they have any success stories?
Well, look at your oldest
There are.
daughter.
Well, don't know how well that. Well, no, not doing that.
Well, there must be for it to continue.
Yeah, they are. But I think the
Yes.
problem is people don't. It's really hard to actually meet people unless you're in sort of nightclubs or an office romance. But that's slightly frowned upon.
And in our day, you would write to someone,
Yeah.
inviting them out in 3 weeks' time,
Canada.
and then you would write back. Well, then you'd wait for the letter back, and there'd be no, and then you would arrange to meet maybe in 2 weeks' time. What there wouldn't be, that I know happens now, is somebody send you a message half an hour before saying I've cancelled.
Yeah. So this is called ghosting, which is a very commonplace thing, and it happens a lot. People give no reason for why they sort of cancelled it. They just stop replying. But you were there the night Kev proposed, weren't you?
Yes, you turned up with the flowers, you idiot. You remember?
What?
Well,
Where?
Well, when I married and got engaged to Katie in Palace Gate, you turned up with the flowers.
Did I?
Yeah, well, it was a bit late.
I can't imagine she was pleased to see me.
She looked a bit startled.
Just very unhappy to see me anywhere.
There was
But
that.
I don't know. I thought you got engaged to Canada.
No, that's when she turned up. No, I asked her actually to come to, she wanted to see Niagara Falls. And so I said, well, look, I'm living here for a while, so you're welcome to come and stay.
Oh, that's right.
And so she
yes,
did come.
Yeah.
Well, she came for the so-called weekend and never left.
Wow.
35 years later.
And 5 children.
Oh,
Five
God.
children, my goodness. Yeah.
And she never saw Niagara Falls. That was the other thing. Poor thing, never mind.
Okay, you know how we did last time? We did a thing where I told you a word and you've got to guess what it means.
Oh,
This
it's
is
no
like-
good asking me that.
No, but Tim might know.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a few old expressions that you two would have known that I wouldn't have done.
Okay.
Okay, so see if you can remember what this means. Do
Okay.
you know what this is, Tim? That's lit.
Well,
Do you know what that means?
look, he's got bad hearing. It's
Sorry,
something to do with the clit.
That clit. Well, this is, no, I don't think you can put that in. You can't.
I said that's lit.
That's lit?
That's lit, not that's clit.
That's
I don't know what that
no idea.
No idea. Okay, number 2. Thirsty.
Well, having a drink of water.
Good.
We'll probably keep it at that, but that's not what it means. LOL. LOL.
Oh, yes, laugh out loud.
That's good.
Lots of love.
BRB.
No, I don't know that one. BRB. Tim?
No idea. No.
Be right back. Karen. She's such a Karen.
Yeah, I think that's a bit harsh on the poor Karens.
Well, I don't.
It's a bit harsh. Certainly having had a bloody
that's-
carrot named after me, I'm getting...
What does that mean?
She's a bit annoying. It's like
Okay.
oh, she's a Karen.
Okay.
Oh no, we did FOMO.
Yeah, I
You know
remember
that one. Tim, do you know what FOMO means?
No.
Fear of missing out. So you've got FOMO.
Right.
That you're not going to something.
Okay. Yes.
Do you know what a goat is?
Yes.
What? Tell me.
It's the greatest of all time.
Oh my God, you actually got it. Kev didn't know that one.
Because
Amazing.
yes, I've heard it because I've been watching quite a bit of tennis this year, and there's always a debate about Federer and Nadal and Djokovic, which is the GOAT.
Which is the goat?
Which, of course, is it's a talking point, but it's absurd, really, because you can't compare the talents and this player's better on this surface, so that's I do know that one.
Well,
Yes,
that was very good.
Yes, yeah.
And then boomer words and phrases, we should bring it back. So these are ones that you might recognise, which I won't know. What is a yuppie?
Yeah, that I do know. It's a sort of upwardly mobile person.
What
That be
is
right? Upwardly mobile, isn't it? Like a Sloane Ranger. Do you remember Sloane Rangers? They all had blue stockings and ran around Sloane Square all the time. And there were lots of them.
Yeah.
A yuppie, yeah, that was no, I can't remember when that would have been.
Don't flip your wig.
I'm not
Apparently that's an expression you used to use.
Don't flip your wig. No, don't
No.
remember that.
Okay, another one. You know your onions.
Yeah, well, that's an old-fashioned expression, isn't it?
You know, yeah, yes, you know your onions. I
Not that we ever did, but anyway. Well, knowing,
well, French
how things work?
French onion sellers would come across on their bicycles, wearing berets and scarves, and the onions would be draped over their bikes.
It's true.
It
And
is
they
true.
smelt of garlic.
Yeah, absolutely, it's
actually
true.
Yeah, they would come over and tell
Yeah, the onion man.
Yeah.
And now I would tell us quickly a bit about what you're doing at the moment. Poetry, spoken word.
Tomorrow I'm doing poetry at the Villa de Geggiano. I do it once a month, second Saturday, maximum 8 people. And it's
28 people.
maximum 8 people, yeah. Right. So it's intimate, and I can address everyone. And they do the work. I do very little. But it's really wonderful to hear people who've never... The idea of poetry is sometimes people have a hangover from school, or it's very highbrow, but they're just short stories. I'll do one for you. It's called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep.
That was very good.
Very good.
Kev, your turn. A little limerick. Anything for us?
No,
A rhyme?
no,
You used to be quite good at those.
no, no,
Nothing?
no, nothing.
Oh, fine.
No,
All right. Then.
sorry.
Any more?
No, I think that's quite enough.
No, I like that. You've got a very.
He does it very well.
You actually do.
And those talks are available on what are they?
Yeah,
But I'm
I'll
going
never-
to do, there is a podcast that's been set up, and I've recorded 10 Grimm's fairy tales for children. But then I'm going to go, I've been asked to do the Beatrix Potter.
Very good.
You've got a very good voice for it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I've done a great many, which you could listen to.
We will. Where could we all listen to them?
I don't know, you look at, what is this,
Podcast?
Audible,
Audible.
or...
Under your name.
Yeah. I think if you put my name in, it should bring up 1 or 2. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I think we've actually hit an hour. That was been wonderful.
Well, it has been. Thank you.
One final question. How do you think you can make a long-term friendship like yours last? What is the key to it?
I have to say, from my respect, I think it's just jolly lucky, really lucky, that you meet people of like mind at a time, that's quite tricky. And you can't choose the year group when you when you go to school. And if you are very fortunate and you meet someone that's in your year group, then you become literally lifelong friends. My poor brother was in not such a good year group, and so he, I think he.
But laughter and
Laughter was crucial.
loyalty, and that person is prepared to tell you when you've got something wrong,
Yeah.
and it's indefinable. But I feel very, mighty blessed in my life, yes.
I've been very lucky.
I think you both are to have each other. Well, that was very, very sweet. Thank you,
Well, thank you very
much. Kevin Tim.
Hey!